Boruto 2 Blue Vortex, Chapter 28, is amazing. In this chaotic new chapter, Mamushi's invasion finally kicks off, instantly throwing every carefully crafted plan into complete disarray. The situation shifts dramatically, and almost the entire chapter leaks before the official release. Amid the growing instability, we're shown a series of intense moments, ranging from Inogen suddenly receiving a crucial power-up, Shikamaru's major strategy that relies heavily on Boruto, all the way to the grim future everyone is desperately trying to avoid using the limited information provided by Kashin Koji. Every character moves with a single mission in mind: stop Mamushi before the future catastrophe repeats itself. With tension spiking and multiple events colliding at once, this chapter stands out as one of the most brutal arc openers so far. Oh yeah, so we can keep interacting and making the anime storytelling world even more fun together. Don't forget to subscribe, hit the like button, and drop your thoughts in the comments to keep the vibe going. Alright guys, let's jump straight into the discussion. Let's go. It turns out the situation is way messier than anyone expected. The reason we're bringing these spoilers now is simple. Almost the entire chapter has already leaked. Even though a few pages are still missing and will probably only show up when the official release drops on Wednesday, we still want to dive into it because there are too many great moments to ignore. Once the full chapter is out, we'll do the usual complete review. But for now, let's enjoy the spoilers we already have because honestly, they're already pretty wild. Alright, let's get into it. The chapter opens with Inogen training a new technique or power-up. We still don't know exactly what it is, but what's surprising is that he manages to learn it in just one day under Kashin Koji and Boruto's supervision. Even so, the tension between Boruto and Inogen is still very obvious. Inogen makes it clear that the reason he's cooperating with Boruto isn't because he supports him or forgives him. He's doing it for Konoha's sake, and of course, to protect Himawari. What makes this scene even better is Boruto's response. He tells Inogen that if he ever hurts Himawari or even makes a single tear fall from her eyes, he'll shave Inogen's head completely bald. Not punch him, not beat him up, just shave him. After saying that, Boruto walks off, leaving Inogen confused and wondering why he's being threatened when Boruto is the one considered traitor. In context, it's clear Boruto already knows about Inogen's feelings for Himawari, which explains why he said that. Just imagine the moment Inogen realizes Boruto is basically his future brother-in-law. He'll probably think, great, I just mouthed off to someone who's basically family. No wonder he was pissed. This whole exchange is hilarious and genuinely entertaining. Then the scene shifts to an interrogation session. Konohamaru has just finished being questioned, and he looks pretty miserable because, once again, he's completely useless. Sai notices from his expression that Konohamaru isn't being entirely honest, which lead the opposing side to suspect there's a hidden plan they aren't aware of. They even realize there's unrecorded external communication happening, meaning someone is hiding something. After this, Sai will likely question Ino directly, since she definitely knows all of Shikamaru's private conversations. Things might get even more tangled from here. So tangled that even Shikamaru admits there's a chance Konoha itself might interfere against them. And all of this chaos? It starts because of Konohamaru. Everything he touches just falls apart. Every mission involving him always goes wrong. It's sad, but that's the reality. A character who once defeated pain now can't do anything right. Moving on to the next scene, we finally see Boruto receiving his new sword. Samaire explains the process behind its creation, which is almost a complete redesign. The only part preserved from the old sword is the handle. When Boruto grips it, the sword instantly absorbs his chakra. Samaire explains that this sword is specifically designed to draw in the user's chakra, so it can unleash lightning-style techniques. But the chakra absorption can only be controlled by 3 people: Samaire, Sasuke, and Boruto himself. On the other hand, when this energy interacts with other people, the story then shifts back to Inogen and Kashin Koji. Inogen asks why Koji doesn't just tell them everything about the future if he truly knows it. In his mind, if all the information were clear from the beginning, they could avoid many dangers. But Koji gives an interesting explanation. He says that every time he reveals information about the future, he is also altering that future. The more he reveals, the greater the changes become. If he were to explain everything, the future that's supposed to happen would collapse entirely. Koji gives an example involving the moment when Inogen sacrificed himself to save Himawari. If Koji had told Inogen about this beforehand, Inogen might have been too frightened to act quickly, meaning he wouldn't have been injured at the right moment. And if that moment didn't happen, Himawari's power wouldn't have awakened. This is the domino effect caused by revealing future events too early. The same goes for Sarada. Precisely because Koji hid certain information, she was able to awaken her new ability. Inogen begins to understand. He concludes that Koji intentionally hides parts of the future, so the path he's guiding them toward can unfold properly. Koji confirms this. He constantly searches for the most favorable possible future and tries to lead everyone toward it. But every piece of information he reveals shifts that future's direction, sometimes drastically, depending on what he says. Honestly, this entire section is fascinating because it portrays how future sight should logically work. Every time someone exposes or changes something that was meant to happen, the future automatically changes. The concept feels incredibly reasonable, making Koji's ability seem even more powerful. The execution of the explanation is excellent as well. At this moment, we're shown one of the most brutal scenes in the storyline, but that brutality is exactly what makes it impactful. It's the depiction of the most likely future, the one they're desperately trying to prevent: Mamushi's complete victory. In the original timeline, Mamushi succeeds in devouring Ida, his main target, and even kills Himawari. That tragedy pushes Inogen to investigate and eventually discover the new jutsu he is now learning in just a single day. In short, Inogen's new ability is born from his deep grudge against Mamushi, and soon we'll finally see how that jutsu works. That bleak future is exactly what they're trying to avoid, using every piece of information Kashin Koji leaked, including how to deal with Mamushi. But there's one detail that raises a big question. In that hypothetical future, Ida ends up being eaten, and Demon, no one knows what happened to him. This is surprising because Demon is supposed to be one of the strongest characters, and as we soon see, he even vows that he won't let Mamushi lay a finger on Ida. Yet Mamushi still manages to take him down. How it happens remains a mystery, but the most likely explanation is that Mamushi knows his weakness. There's no other way Mamushi could defeat Demon and devour Ida without neutralizing him first. That's why many fans jokingly call Demon a dream seller, because despite being hyped as the strongest, he still falls and fails to protect his sister in that future. After everything is explained, the mission finally begins. We see a lot of characters getting involved because Inogen uses his new jutsu to link everyone together at once, almost like a long-distance conference call. Everyone who knows the truth about Boruto takes part. Those who trusted him from the beginning, and those who changed their minds later, like Konohamaru, Mitsuki, and others. The main reason this team is assembled is because Boruto is the key to fighting alongside Kawaki, and they want to ensure nothing interferes with him. Their other task is to clear the path and support Boruto. If any civilians or unrelated individuals appear, they must be redirected or kept away so the mission isn't disrupted. This section also explains Inogen's new jutsu in detail. Besides serving as a communication tool, it has an extra advantage. Everyone connected becomes both a transmitter and receiver, able to sense vibrations around them. In other words, the jutsu works like a GPS system or bat-like echolocation, detecting objects through their unique vibration patterns. This is crucial because Mamushi emits no chakra at all and can completely hide from chakra detection. That means the only way to locate them is through vibrations and Inogen's technique. This is precisely why the jutsu was created, to defeat Mamushi. During the first failed attack in the future, they lost because they didn't know Mamushi's position. Remember, Mamushi can clone themselves infinitely. Killing 19 is pointless if the 20th survives. To win, every single one must be destroyed at the same time. This is Mamushi's greatest advantage. Without a tracking method, they never stood a chance. But now, thanks to Inogen's jutsu, they can pinpoint every Mamushi clone accurately. At last, the invasion begins. It was briefly shown in the previous chapter, but this is the moment when the attack officially starts. With Inogen's jutsu, they detect 8 Mamushi for now, meaning the situation is still manageable. The clones are seen moving around the village, clearly searching for Ida, their primary target. Everyone immediately prepares for battle, because the attack comes earlier than expected. Mamushi was supposed to appear several days later, but their arrival is accelerated, just as Kashin Koji predicted. As mentioned earlier, from this point onward, the storyline diverges. Events no longer follow the original timeline, and one of the biggest changes is how early the attack begins. Back on the ground, Mamushi starts questioning villagers about Ida's location. Naturally, most people don't know where she is, since her position has been kept secret and she's essentially treated like a princess of Konohagakure for the time being. This scene also confirms something important. Mamushi has no intention of destroying Konoha's buildings. This ties back to Yura, who previously showed a bit of attachment to Konoha and didn't want reckless destruction. Because of that, the Mamushi act calmly and state they won't damage anything unless they're attacked first. For now, things remain under control. Ida is visibly nervous since she's the main target. Demon immediately declares he'll protect her, though his overwhelming confidence sometimes makes him seem a bit too sure of himself. When the Konoha forces were about to launch their attack, Shikamaru abruptly stopped them. He explained that this enemy was troublesome because it could split itself. If all the shinobi focused on a single point, while Mamushi dispersed elsewhere, their efforts would be wasted. Therefore, every team needed to hold their positions, including Sarada and Kawaki. The only one allowed to move closest to the center of the conflict was Boruto. Thanks to the Jigen, Yuri, technique, Boruto could teleport instantly to any location within Konoha, making him the most strategic asset to counter the main threat. Moments later, Boruto received the coordinates of Mamushi's location. He immediately appeared in front of one of the clones, interrogating civilians, and struck first, successfully taking down one of Mamushi's bodies. But of course, things weren't that simple. Right at that moment, the chapter abruptly cuts off. The strongest assumption is that Boruto's battle against multiple Mamushi replicas is about to begin. Several pages are still missing, so what happens next remains unclear. However, the signs point to Boruto struggling against Mamushi's overwhelming numbers. He will most likely be surrounded. The chapter then closes with Boruto finally activating his karma again. After a long time, he decides to use that power once more. This is where the nature of Boruto and Mamoshiki's agreement finally becomes clear. It appears Boruto can now use karma without restrictions, no longer bound to the condition that he may only use it to defeat Yura. This means he can activate it any time and against any opponent. It seems their revised deal has now been fully validated. At the end of the chapter, it's stated that Boruto ends up in a desperate position, forced to risk everything to defeat the Shinju, his body, his chakra, and even his soul, just as he once offered to Momoshiki. With that, the chapter ends on an intense note, making it clear that this new arc is shaping up to be massive and brutal. Mamushi once again stands out as a terrifying villain. Many argue he's currently one of the strongest due to his cheat-like ability. In one timeline, it's even confirmed that he managed to defeat Demon. That alone is insane. He also defeated Himawari while she was using the fox's power. Mamushi is practically a monster, nearly impossible to deal with, because fighting him turns into a battle of endurance. No matter how many times he's killed, as long as not all of his bodies are destroyed at once, he survives. That's why eliminating him is extremely difficult. Still, Shikamaru's strategy and the coordinated plans of the shinobi make sense. It seems each character will be assigned to destroy one Mamushi body. They will need to attack simultaneously from different directions, to wipe him out completely. This is likely the pattern we'll see in the upcoming chapter, while Boruto moves forward as the primary weapon with his activated karma. Once the full chapter releases, a complete review will follow as usual. For now, these are the spoiler details available until Wednesday. Clearly, this arc opens with tremendous impact and sets the stage for a major battle ahead. Bob, that's really interesting, bro. Thank you so much for sticking with the story till the end. If you have any questions, feel free to write them down in the comments section below. Thanks again for watching, and see you in the next one.